All right, welcome back to Puerto Rico Life. My name is Jeff, and this video is all about the 4 reasons that you should consider moving to Puerto Rico. So, before I get into that, I just want to say a couple of quick things. This video is going to be relatively short. Make sure you stick around to the end so that you can hear all 4 reasons. But if you're enjoying my content, please like this video, give me the little thumbs up, and subscribe. It really helps grow the channel. The more the channel grows, the more videos like this I can justify doing. So thank you so much for that. And I really appreciate all of the support. It's been an incredible month since I started the channel. And as you may or may not know, if you're new to the channel, you probably don't know, I will be spending next month in San Juan, Puerto Rico. So I'm considering a move myself. I currently live in Chattanooga, Tennessee. And as I consider this, I started thinking about, well, why do I want to move to Puerto Rico? Like, I mean, Puerto Rico is an interesting place. I've been there several times, but I've never spent any significant amount of time there. So I plan to go there actually a week from tomorrow, and I'll be there from the 17th of May until the 16th of June. So without further ado, let's cover the 4 reasons to move to Puerto Rico, at least the 4 that I can think of right now. So the first one, and the most important one to me, is weather. So, weather. The weather is amazing in Puerto Rico. So, you have many, many, many sunny days and then cool ocean breezes. Now, obviously, it depends a little bit on what part of Puerto Rico you live in. If you live in the rainforest, it would be more rainy. If you live in the mountains, for example, it might be a little bit cooler. So you can think about that as well. But weather is a very important element of this. And sort of hand in hand with weather is proximity to the ocean. So for me, I think about that as the same thing. I want to be in a nice place with great weather close to the ocean. So weather close to the ocean, so I can do things like swimming and snorkeling and scuba diving and boating and paddleboarding, kayaking, all of that kind of fun stuff. So that is reason number one to consider moving to Puerto Rico, is that it has great weather. Of course, there are many, many places with great weather, right? Many, many places with great weather all around the world, including, other places in the Caribbean and Hawaii and, the South Pacific. And so there are other reasons to consider moving to Puerto Rico. The number 2 reason that I'm considering moving to Puerto Rico, and is very relevant for most people that are watching this video, is that it is a US territory. Now, it is not the only US territory with good weather. Obviously, the Keys in Florida are part of the United States. They have really great weather. Um, Guam probably has pretty good weather. Never really researched it. I know for sure the US Virgin Islands have amazing weather. So there are other places to consider as well with great weather that are also part of the United States or a US territory. But there are even more great reasons to consider uh, moving to Puerto Rico. And one of those great reasons is exciting culture. So, if you move to many places in the United States, like if you move to Key West, you're in Key West. Nothing wrong with being in Key West, but Key West is not the same as being in Puerto Rico. So, the things that are exciting to me about Puerto Rico, it has a long history with Spanish and native influences, tons of history, forts, um, the Spanish language. I've done a whole playlist, which I'll put, well, I guess, over here, uh, on how I'm trying to learn Spanish. I'm very, very bad at Spanish so far, but it's because I've never taken the time to learn it. So far, I've learned the alphabet, and I've learned a little bit about conjugating verbs, and I'm working on vocabulary, and I'm working on understanding Spanish in general. But yeah, there's definitely that. Um, there's definitely that option as well to do. As Puerto Rico, you can meet other people, excuse me, that have moved to Puerto Rico. You can meet people that are native to Puerto Rico, that have lived there for a long time. Puerto Ricans are some of the more interesting people I've ever met. Their food is amazing. Things like mofongo, lots and lots of pork dishes, and plantain based dishes, and rice based dishes that we just simply don't get very often in the United States. In fact, when we were living in Michigan a decade or so ago, one of our favorite restaurants was run by a Puerto Rican, and it was really, really amazing. Um, just a fantastic place, food wise, culture wise, and with the long history that they have, there's a lot of really interesting things. And then the final reason, the fourth reason that I think you should consider moving to Puerto Rico is that they've created an incentive structure of amazing tax breaks for US mainlanders who want to move over to Puerto Rico. Many people who are considering a move to a foreign country are disappointed to learn that they still are subject to US federal income taxes. If you're a US citizen, doesn't matter where you live in the world, even Puerto Rico, you are subject to US federal income taxes. Now, there are certain exemptions to that. The exemptions, one exemption is on the first little bit of the money you make abroad. If you live in a foreign country, there's a certain amount of money that you can make. And I'm not a CPA and I'm not giving tax advice, but there's a certain amount of money that you can make abroad without having to pay U.S. federal income tax on it. But if you exceed those limits, you will be stuck paying federal income tax on all of your income unless you happen to go to one of those U.S. territories like the U.S. Virgin Islands or Puerto Rico. The the advantage of doing that is that they allow the local jurisdiction to tax you and give you an exemption for income earned in that place if you are in fact a bona fide resident of that place. So I did a whole video about how great the tax benefits are and try to mirror it up here. I'll put it up there. Did a whole video about the tax benefits in Puerto Rico and what you should be watching out for. I believe I called that video why you shouldn't move to Puerto Rico for tax benefits. And I'll say that again very, very clearly. The tax benefits are great, but if that's the only reason you're going, you need to be really careful. You do actually have to live there. You do actually have to move your life to Puerto Rico. So you better want to be there because money is one thing, but quality of life is much, much more important. So the tax benefits that you get living in Puerto Rico, just shortly, is that you get taxed as a Puerto Rican, and then you can apply for a grant from the government, which will exempt you from taxes and dramatically reduce your taxes. So you can get things like 0% capital gains tax, 0% dividend tax, 0% on interest. And if you do something like exporting or export services, so maybe some consulting to people that live off of Puerto Rico, you can actually be taxed at a very low rate. In some cases, 2 or 4%. This is much lower than federal income tax and gives you a huge advantage. So for my wife and I, we were thinking we wanted to move somewhere in the Caribbean. We were looking at various options and we had narrowed it down significantly. We really love Puerto Rico. And so now we're very much considering Puerto Rico. And one of the things that may very well tip the balance to Puerto Rico over some other place, like, say, the US Virgin Islands, which are also beautiful, St. Thomas is amazing, is that we can save dramatically on taxes. Now, I'm going to try to make a video later about reasons that you should not move to Puerto Rico, things that you should think about before doing that, but I won't be able to really understand those until I've been there for a while. So, as I said, by way of reminder, I will be going to Puerto Rico for a month. So, if there's anything that you think I should do, see, or experience while I'm there, or are there any videos that you want made about Puerto Rico, please put those in the comments and I'll definitely try to address those during the next month or so while I'm in Puerto Rico. Also, I I want to thank you once again, like I did at the beginning of the video, for taking the time to watch the video. It means so much to me. And I would love it if you would like this video because that really helps with the algorithm on YouTube. And then also subscribe because that's the only way we can grow our channel. And that really, really helps out and allows me to continue to make more and more videos and share them with the world. There are so many people that have reached out to me over the last several weeks talking about how excited they are about the possibility of moving to Puerto Rico and how they've been looking for more information about moving to Puerto Rico. And I want to be able to continue to provide this information to people. So please like the video, give me the old thumbs up, subscribe, hit the bell to remind you so that you get a notification every single time I post a new video. Thank you so much. And like I said, be sure to comment if you have any questions or if you'd like me to make a specific video in the future. Have a great day. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. And if you're watching this during the week or a month or two from now, maybe I'll be in Puerto Rico. And if I see you out on the streets in San Juan, be sure to stop by and say, "Hey, Jeff, great seeing you. Love your content." It would mean so much to me. Thanks so much and welcome. And thank you for checking out Puerto Rico Life.